Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Twisted and the Twilight, where we got a lot of threats on our borders here, and honestly I'm feeling pretty diminished. Like, it's going to take us a second to be back at fighting strength. Hopefully we have some time left on this before the Skaven have managed to mass all the way up, and we have to expect that the Bleak Holds will start recruiting an army on their coming turn, and then they'll be filling it just as quickly as they can. So by the time we get down here, they might have a significant portion of a force already. I don't know how much we're going to be able to ride this victory into another one. I guess we'll find out, huh? For the moment, it seems like most of our other neighbors, like the people further to our north, are content to ignore us. Which is really good, because if they stop doing that, we're going to get annihilated very quickly. We need to get to a place where we have like 2 to 3 armies as quickly as possible. Yep, because of stuff like this, because right now we have a territory that's very easy to attack from multiple sides. Alright, the Sisters of Twilight have gained a trait, so there are a lot of traits like this in the game that your lords can learn by fulfilling certain requirements. You're getting a little bit more public order. Alright, next turn we'll be pretty much ready to go. Remember, as long as we stay in our region, we'll continue to get replenishment, so we'll like move to the border and get that last little bit of healing done. This is looking more menacing though, right? Did it get redder? Is that me? Maybe I'm just imagining things. And these beastmen over here, who, as you might imagine, are not huge fans of us, they have an 18-unit army, and we can only see a portion of it, but the portion we can see is made up of some of the weakest units in the game. So I'm not terrified. We're not technically at war with them either. Maybe they'll feel content to not declare on us. They'll just chill out there and steal a little bit of our gold. I wonder, I'm assuming that the Skaven coming out of here will not attack the Dark Elves. Uh-oh. Oh, they want 100 gold for a non-aggression pact. So you gotta be a little bit careful with stuff like this. If you start to make treaties with people that other factions don't like, it can damage your reputation. I don't want to get into a fight with the Forgebound, but it looks like they're pretty small and weak. You can see they are strength rank 164, which I think is pretty close to the lowest in the game. I'm not going to accept this. I don't want to be seen making deals with Dark Elves. And frankly, I'm not afraid of them right now. Maybe we'll end up regretting that later. Alright, continuing to raid my stuff, but not a big deal. Yep. It's our last chance to interrupt their preparations. I do believe we are going to get there too late. Okay, so that army is... I mean, they're trying. They're trying to put something together. Let's put ourselves into encampment mode, which will give us just a little bit more replenishment. That'll have us just about refilled next turn. And unfortunately, I think, yeah, we're not quite going to make this. Well, I guess we get to see what a full-strength invasion looks like. It could be a real bad time, I suppose. Have we... Ah, yes, our upgrades did finish. So, let's go ahead and upgrade this to the Tier 2 version, which will unlock War Dancers and... War Dancers with big spears, and what is this? A Glade Captain. Oh, this is a new kind of hero for us. Okay, yeah, that seems like a very good idea. We are going to need better military units. And then these upgrades will require kindreds, so we'll get to those eventually. I mean, we probably want to build the Sacred Grounds of Anathema, right? Yeah, we want more Hawk Riders. Hawk Riders seem great. And then... additional garrison. You know what? I think let's build a little bit more defense as well. We have no idea what's going to happen when this completes. If it'll like spawn a new army here and then they'll run over there, or if it'll just like start a battle. If they're going to give us 2 turns to complete a thing, we should, we should be building it. Oh, interesting. Another Elven faction. So I believe that's Nagarath. They're High Elves, so they should be... I mean, certainly they hate the Dark Elves as much as we do. I don't know if that'll make us friends exactly, but it does mean we're not immediately enemies, at least. And them keeping the bleak holds at bay will mean we have time to deal with this. Okay, the Forgebound, who were begging us for a non-aggression pact, were wiped out. And the invasion begins. An enemy force is fully mustered and marches upon your settlements. So what do we got here? We can't exactly see. A lot of weak units, though. And then some stuff that's a little bit more real. If you're not familiar with the Skaven, they're sort of like, they're rat men, mad scientists, and they got a lot of really weird technology, like flamethrowers. And these big, fancy... Okay, you'll see. No one can be told what the Doomflayer is. You have to be shown. Well, I guess let's go for it. We're never going to have a better chance than right now. Oh, they're running. So if your army gets attacked on an enemy turn, you can choose to retreat one time and you'll fall back. And then if the enemy has enough movement, they can just chase you and engage you again. So bad news for them. Wow, I'm not 100% sure why they ran away. Their army looks pretty okay, actually. So they have a Rattling Gun, which is a great big machine gun, and some Rat Ogres, and a whole lot of Flamethrowers, and this actually looks kind of ugly for us. But I think we're going to go for it. And I'll tell you why. Even if we end up losing here, I think dramatically reducing the strength of this army while we're building up defenses in our main settlement is a good idea. We don't want them to have any chance of actually taking down the main settlement. So if we lose this army, it's not the end of the world. We'll be able to recruit a new one, and we gotta bleed some of the strength off of this force. Also, the balance of power bar was pretty against us, but I think it's maybe overestimating their chances just a tiny bit. At the risk of perhaps moff-targeting myself here. So, they're way down there, and we have sort of a bottleneck. To be clear, we are the attacking force here. Once we start the battle, there will be a little timer, like an hour-long timer, and if we don't kill them, we lose. So they don't have to cross the bottleneck at us. But they probably will. The AI is pretty aggressive. So you can see that some of our units are hidden. Man-sized units, anything that's not large, can hide in a forest and be invisible to enemy units unless those units get quite close. I don't know that it really benefits us very much to be hidden, because I think we're gonna have to move up, right? Yeah, if you see when we mouse over our troops, our firing range ends about here, and we really would like to have that right at the bridge, right at the mouth of the bridge. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna run up real fast. It does look like they're advancing on us, so let's grab this whole ground formation and just sort of slide forward to, I don't know, here-ish. Elves are pretty fast, but Skaven are faster. So we do need to get a move on if we want to get this done. And then we'll put our flying missile units up here. Flock of Doom may end up being very, very useful. I don't exactly know what we want to do with the Cav. I'm going to set them off to the side for the moment. Same with the Eagles. We have to be a little bit careful about putting large units in a place where they could potentially get Rattling Gunned. Because the Rattling Guns will mess up large units very, very quickly. Yeah, these things are the Rat Ogres. They're a little bit terrifying. Over here we got our flamethrower teams and stuff. It's a bad time. It's potentially a bad time. So hold up. How much have we closed up? Are we... Alright, I think we can tell the archers. We can just start picking targets out. Let's put everybody in guard mode. And unfortunately, a lot of the dangerous units they have here, like the warp fire throwers, are actually quite heavily armored. But they have a couple of things, like plague monks, which are basically just wearing tattered robes. We can cut those guys down real fast. And then I think what we want to do mostly is try to mash up their melee troops quickly. Oh, and their night runners. That's another very poorly armored unit. Basically, I just want to cause damage here. I'm not really aiming at anything in particular. The rat ogres are not super dangerous, but they are, surprise, unarmored, and we're just gonna kill stuff because Skaven are fast and they have really fantastic weaponry, and They are very numerous, but they're also cowards. Anti-leadership strategies. Very, very effective against the Skaven. And let's have the spears move up. We want to keep them just in front of the archers. Don't move too far forward because, you know, flamethrowers and stuff. It could be a real problem. Alright, how far up do we have to run? Okay. The range on this is quite short. So our Spellsinger is flying as fast as she can. See, that Rattling Gun team is trying to focus on our Lord, which I'm actually super okay with, because she's quite fast. They'll have a hard time keeping up with her. So I think my plan is to keep her moving around like this. I'm going to have the Eagle engage them directly while they're constantly turning to keep her in their firing arc. So here you see we got the crows off, and now we need to need to run the Spellsinger way, way back. Let's have a couple of teams focus specifically on the Doomflayer. The Doomflayer, it's like a really wicked unicycle. It's sort of just like a big wheel with blades on it that they ride on the back of, and it will it'll really mess us up really quickly if we're not careful. So let's see. We've already pretty much broken these warp fire throwers. I don't even know how. It's pretty much by accident. Let's drop one of these great big volleys on something that matters. What am I afraid of? Pretty much the warp fire throwers, honestly. Yeah, I guess this team of warp fire throwers, they get the big thing. So we'll have our Stag Knights wrap around and hit something in the back. The Eagle's going directly for the gunners, and as soon as the Eagle engages the gunners, we're gonna have our Lord stop running so much. For the moment, we just need to keep them distracted. Uh-oh. My spears I didn't correctly calculate how much further the archers were going to move forward before they stopped to shoot. So we had our spears stop a little short here. Fortunately, you can see we've already broken several enemy units because Skaven are cowards and they do not like to be resisted in any way at all. We're going to back all of the archers who are in here up, hopefully. If the spears keep the Doomflayers occupied, then we should be able to withdraw. Doomflayers are pretty tough against melee though, so I'm gonna beast form or wild form one of these units as we're withdrawing. So you can see, hopefully, why I pause and stuff a lot. I think that the game there's a lot that happens in a combat, and I think it's hard to keep things straight, hard to keep track of what's going on if you don't pause. Okay, you stay on them. So we have a lot of Skaven. Let's make sure that we're staying on the warpfire throwers. A lot of my archers are facing the wrong way here. You guys, turn. I assume they turned to face an enemy, and then that enemy died. Alright. More scary crows. More stats for melee. Looks like the cavalry thing is totally working. Oh. Oh, flamethrowers. I don't know why that shook the camera so much. Apparently just sort of being near a flamethrower when it goes off. So, a little bit of a seismic event. Alright, the thing that is causing us the most problems is still the Doomflayers. I guess try shooting at them. Unfortunately, they're pretty heavily armored, given that they are made entirely of metal. Here, let's get our Lord on them. Switch into anti-large mode. But yeah, as you can see, I think that the balance of power bar was overestimating the effectiveness of these units a little bit. There's a lot of running and screaming. Unfortunately, when Skaven retreat, they gain a significant amount of movement speed. Oh, they just They just gave up. All of them just broke. What a bunch of cowards. I'll tell you what, if the Skaven could ever stay committed to any one plan for any length of time, they would be unstoppable. But yeah, fights with Skaven often involve a lot of the Skaven break and they run away, and then once they're no longer near enemies, they regain their leadership very quickly, and so you end up fighting the same Skaven over and over again in waves. It can be very annoying if your armies, a lot of your army's damage relies on your infantry units, like your melee infantry units. But if you have a lot of bows, it's not a big deal. You just keep shooting at them the entire time they're doing the back and forth dance. And they don't really have, if you can control their machine guns and stuff, they don't really have a lot of answers to like a big eagle or something. Boy, if you can't control their machine guns though, they will cut down anything in the sky. We were up against a pretty low-tech Skaven force this time. I assume as the game goes on, we'll see some stuff that we're going to have a lot harder time dealing with. Alright, so when you fight an enemy and they are not, when you defeat an enemy army and they are not in a settlement, you take prisoners and you got to decide what to do with them. We could allow these warriors to return for their realms, for a ransom, and our army will gain 5% physical resistance on account of all of our grace. We can just put them to the sword, we get a buff for 3 turns that increases our missile strength. Or we can abduct them and have them work in our supply train and stuff, which will increase our replenishment rate. I'm gonna take the money and the physical resistance, because right now we're still really not making a lot of money, and you can see we're down to 204 income per turn. The raiding that the Beastmen is doing, they're taking this 424 gold directly from our coffers every turn, so it is a problem we're gonna have to deal with. And of course, the forge is lit again, because, we're out here murdering people. So like I said, if you lose a battle, your army what's left of your army will fall back, so you'll still have a partial force. If you retreat before you get engaged on, that's not true. You'll be wiped out where you stand to a man. So that army is just gone. We did it. We are the heroes of the forest. And I want to get far enough in the blue line to get a hold of Lightning Strike. I think it's a very good idea to have at least one Lord with the ability to run Lightning Strike battles. So that's our plan for right now. Given that so much of our money is coming from battles, I actually think maybe it's a good idea to max out Wonders of the Forest. And you... so we can improve our spells once we have them. The second point in a spell gives you the ability to overcast it, which makes it more powerful, but also gives it a chance to miscast, which will cause the magic to sort of feed back on your wizard. You still get the spell, but also you get a lot of horrible third-degree burns. So, checks and balances there, I suppose. I think we are going to go ahead and upgrade it. I like Flock of Doom quite a lot against the kinds of enemies that we see around us here. Like Beastmen and Skaven. And then, what is Ice Rock Gorge? Ice Rock Gorge is part of the Doomglades. I suppose we could go over there and settle it. It is feeding us health as long as it's empty, too, so we could just leave it empty, but I don't feel confident that it won't get taken over by somebody else. So yeah, let's head in this direction. We'll settle that. We'll let Alithanar of the High Elves here deal with our enemies. Would you like to have a little chat, maybe? Okay, so we're trending toward a positive amount of reputation, common enemies. How do you feel about a non-aggression pact? Alright, we might be able to make it happen. We'll just have to impress him a little bit more. And let's have a quick look at the forge. So, we could improve our Eagle's Bow. 9% range, 10% missile strength. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like a permanent improvement. Wow. The temporary upgrade version of this is really powerful, though. Alright, did upgrading it unequip it? No, it's still here. Okay. Well, I think that was a very productive turn. How are we doing on kindreds? In 3 turns, we'll have 2 kindreds available, so we will be able to upgrade something. I guess I like this better. It gives us a little bit more growth and a little more casualty replenishment, both of which are very important. Yeah, that's probably the move we'll make.
How I enjoyed that.
Now, unfortunately, you cannot always rely on the AI to finish what they start. So it's entirely possible that a Lithanar will sit here in Siege of Hag Hall for several turns and then just decide he wants to go somewhere else and do a different thing. So we shouldn't necessarily rely on him to get the job done. For the moment, I'm assuming I will have to finish fighting those Dark Elves myself. But he'll give us a little bit of time to heal up at least, probably. Alright, we finished our worship of Vol the Maker.
When do we fight? Only when necessary.
Alright, so if you move an army to an empty settlement, you can colonize it. You immediately lose a bunch of the soldiers from your units because they have to actually start living in the town. It's got to get citizens from somewhere. And it has a gold cost. Or we could just search it and get a little puzzle. And sometimes the rewards from these are worth the time. Sometimes. I think we're going to colonize it.
Itching for fresh battle.
I want to hold on to this. I want to be in control of it. I want it not to be sitting empty so that anybody else can just wander in and settle it for us. And then once it's repaired, we can build something in it. So, if we research Loic the Trickster, we get a reduction of the cooldown of our Lore of Shadows spells. I don't think we have any units that know the Lore of Shadows. So we're just going to move right on this way and get that extra campaign movement range. Again, just like moving around on the map is the thing you do most in the game. I think it seems quite obvious that it's very, very powerful. So we could spend one of our kindreds on this instead of on an economic upgrade. I think we're going to hold off on that. I want the economic upgrade that increases the rate at which we get kindred. And then we can buy other stuff later. You know, it's very important to reinforce your resource loop at every opportunity, especially early on in the game. So I think we have like a couple turns left on our temporarily buffed boots, or whatever it is that we had Daith give the temporary improvement to. And when that runs out, we're going to see our army start replenishing much, much more slowly. At some point we got to go fight these beastmen. For the moment, they're not causing too much trouble for us. Although now we have Dark Elves in our lands raiding our stuff as well. Rumors of a possible threat to the world roots have emerged in this region. Okay, you know what? That feels like someone else's problem to me. Mission issued. Eliminate a lord belonging to the Beastmen. If we take down these fierce warriors, it will strike a terrible blow to their morale. And we will receive a gun, it sounds like. And some relations with Torgovan. So there's a faction called the Beastmen, but there's also the Beastmen are also a race. Korok Manripper over here is of the Beastmen race, but I don't know if defeating his army is actually, I don't think it's going to count toward this mission. And I do not have any intention of sending an army through the world routes over to Torgovan for this reward. It just seems like a lot of work, man.
The Sisters of Twilight.
It's alright, let's build ourselves another thing. Even more growth in adjacent provinces. Or a big boost to casualty replenishment. I do love replenishment rate bonuses. And our army's pretty rough, given the number of people we just sent out to settle Ice Rock Gorge. I think we're gonna do this, but I'm sad we're not taking this thing. It's just I think we need the growth. In a long-term resource sense, the growth is far too valuable to pass up. So next turn we'll have our kindred. We'll get our economic upgrade, and then hopefully from there we should be seeing new kindred quite frequently. We've lost vision of Hag Hall because we haven't had any bodies near it in a while, but we can tell it's still under siege because of the smoke rising up off the settlement. Those are all the campfires of Lithanar's army outside the walls. Alright, how are we doing on health? Are we... Oh, a gift from Lord Daith. Sends word that by the will of Vol himself, the magical fires of the Temple Forge had recently blazed to unusually high temperatures. sustaining conditions that will enable him to craft an entirely new piece of equipment. Date's process is a mysterious one, driven as much by the whims of his flames and the quirks of his materials as the craftsman's own intent, so the final form of the item is vague. However, the doting old smith is keen to ensure you'll get what you need, so offers a choice of what sort of item he will attempt to craft. Well, honestly, I think we have a pretty good weapon right now. Let's get a new set of armor. It's made us some eagle vambraces. Ambush defense chance up considerably on your army and also 10% missile resistance. How does that compare to the armor we already had? Right now we have these dreaming boots. I actually like those on you a lot. Can we equip that armor on the hero? Yeah, okay. I'll give you the vambraces. It still gives us the bonus ambush chance. And then I don't think we have a lot of spare items for you, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, you're determined, which means you're immune to psychology. Basically fear. It means she's immune to fear, in practice. And we get to max out Flock of Doom, so now, in addition to having the ability to overcast it, we've dramatically lowered the cooldown and the Winds of Magic cost. It's going to be all crows all the time. And I think we should probably sit in this settlement and heal up for one more turn. You get replenishment anytime you're in a friendly region, but you get way more replenishment if you're in a friendly settlement. And let's go ahead and buy this. That's basically all of our money. Alright, and after we spend one more turn healing up in Ice Rock Gorge, I think we have to go north and deal with these raiders. One thing that the game is not making super clear is that you do lose a lot of public order for being raided. Right now, we have a ton of public order coming in from our buildings, so it's not such a big deal, but it can't continue. The Witchwood has almost leveled out on public order, and hey, look at that, we're actually getting some health going. It's a start. Okay, and Elithanar did claim Hag Hall.
Do we have to talk to them, Nestra? It is but a moment of your time, Arab.
What does the Hierophant want? He wants a defensive alliance. You know what? I'm into it. I think that's fine. So what this means is, if either of us gets war declared on them, the other one must join the war, or break the alliance and be viewed by everyone as the kind of person who would break an alliance. I think this is fine. We'll get them marked as properly friendly, so now their Heath will be transferring forest health to us. And they're in such a remote corner of the world that I don't imagine they're going to get attacked by people very often. I don't think this alliance is going to drag us into a lot of wars. There's another kind of alliance, a military alliance, where you also swear to go to war on behalf of your ally if they declare war on anyone else. That can be very dangerous because the AI is extremely aggressive. You will get into trouble with that one. And now we're being raided by Galak Bloodgorge, another Beastman tribe, but this one we are already at war with. I guess we started the game at war with these guys. So that seems like a problem. We should probably deal with that. Yeah, their army is big enough that they're going to destroy the Temple of Adeoth, too. Let's move as quickly as we can here. March mode. Oh, that's true. I did just run through Elithanar's land. Listen, it wasn't his land when we got over here. We had to figure out a way to get back. Unfortunately, as you can see, minus 10 reputation for trespasses against Nagaryth. That's actually pretty bad. That's a pretty bad deal. I would love it if we could get a trade agreement going and maybe military access. That doesn't happen again in the future. Maybe also one of these non-aggression pacts. Okay, they'll take the trade offer. That's fine. We can start there. But also pact? No? Okay. Well, that's fine. The positive reputation from having the trade agreement with them will overwrite the trespasses, and the treaty reputation will last, while that trespass reputation will fade over time. It'll be fine. Someday we'll be friends. We'll laugh about all these silly misunderstandings. So how far do we have to get? Does it have to get to 100 before we can rebirth it? Yep, you require 100 forest health to perform the Ritual of Rebirth. Okay. I have no idea how much money we're going to need before it becomes sensible to hire a new lord in. Let's have a quick look. Okay, hiring a new lord will immediately increase our army upkeep by 724 gold per turn, which obviously is a problem. It's not a thing we can handle right now.
Let there be peace.
So that's going to be a concern for later. We're not going to be able to hire a new lord anytime soon, it looks like. Okay, our defensive allies have shown up to help defend our territory. That's nice. They're close enough to our settlement that if either one of us gets attacked by those beastmen, the other one will be able to show up as a reinforcement. That's another benefit of the defensive alliance. So that'll probably keep Gallic Bloodgorge from burning my stuff down. Oh, apparently we weren't quite close enough. He totally ate that that skeleton army. Well, that's a shame. Interlopers into the Trickster's Woods have been caught and brought before you to face justice. The sentence is clear: death. Yet, before you can pass judgment, one of the captives issues a brazen challenge. If he can last 1 hour in battle with a war dancer, then he and his friends go free. If not, he accepts your sentence. It is a bold request, but one you have no obligation to accept. So, if we take the wager, war dancers will be very happy we did, and we don't have any war dancers or blade singers, so this is not a very impressive buff for us. If we just kill him, we get public order and leadership, because, boy, wood elves love to murder outsiders. That's like their #1 thing. Yeah, let's do that. This insolence adds another heinous crime to the list. Alright, the Shadowgore Warherd was destroyed by our allies, and then our allies were themselves destroyed by a different Warherd. And also, we got some Savage Orcs coming in. Man. Okay, we got a lot of problems. So, that Beastman army disappeared. If you're watching closely, you could have seen them switch into the hidden encampment stance. They have the ability to basically just become invisible pretty much anywhere. There is no reason to assume that they are actually gone. Hold on a second. We had our ambush stance available on the thing. Okay. I wonder why this wasn't appearing before. Well, we have to have at least 10% movement left. I wonder if it's like you can only do it in forests. Let's see. We'll move up here. Be just at the edge of the city. And no, we still have it. Okay, well. So, by putting the army in ambush stance, we've made them invisible. Anytime an enemy army moves near them, or on each enemy player's turn, if they have an army that is nearby, they'll have a chance to reveal us. And the chance to reveal us is based on a lot of factors, including like the terrain. You can see here, we have a base ambush success chance of 70% here. And then also there are skills and equipment that can modify that. Hopefully they will not see that we are here. They will think the temple is undefended. They'll run into it to take it, and we'll surprise them with reinforcements and totally ruin their whole deal. Alright, we've already got another kindred available. Let's take this one to build up our defenses. I really hope those beastmen fall for this trap, because if they don't, then we're going to have no idea where they are, and we're going to have to be nervous about this place being attacked for, like, forever. The Skaven, Clan Rictus, controlled by Tretch Craventail, with, like, a... I don't even know where this dude is, but for the same reason that we didn't take the deal from the Dark Elves, we're not taking it from him. There are a lot of people in the world that we would like to be friendly with who will not put up with us being friendly with Skaven. Also, Skaven are incredibly treacherous, and they betray you all the time, so... There's a lot of dimensions on which that would have been a bad thing to take on. Oh, and our ally has been attacked. Well, you know what we do. Okay, these guys fell for our ambush. They didn't see the reinforcement army, they ran in to attack what they thought was a weak settlement, and now they're going to get very embarrassed, we hope. So you notice, the balance of power is pretty positive on this one, and their army is pretty simple. I think we're just going to take the auto-resolve here. So the settlement garrison took a beating. Our main army came out of that all right. We're definitely going to auto-resolve a fair number of battles throughout the campaign, because like I said, there's so many. There's so many to fight. So we could... I think we'll just ransom them back to their tribe. And you'll notice there were no buffs associated with the buttons in that battle. That's because a settlement garrison won the battle instead of a proper army. The Azrai have long had a patchy relationship with the denizens of the forest. The Azrai is an elf word that means wood elves. While often the two peoples get along harmoniously, there have been issues. Lately, malevolent dryads have taken to kidnapping elven children for fun. It's a real weird definition of that word. When brought to justice, they remain unrepentant. It is their forest, they say. To burn them would anger the forest, but surely they must be made to pay for their crimes. Well, we could send them off to the Wildwood, just cast them out, which will reduce our public order. People will not be happy that we did that. Or we could burn them. It'll be hard to recruit dryads for a little while, but honestly, this isn't much of a penalty. We're not going to be recruiting a lot of dryads anyway. Okay, and apparently that was the only force that faction had, so great victory this day, and also our allies will, you can see here, military actions against the Skull Takers, war with the Skull Takers. Our allies are very pleased with us. So we did discover Galek Bloodgorge over there. It's good to know. I don't want to lose track of that guy's army.
Only when necessary.
Because beastmen are so good at sneaking around, it could be really annoying to lose track of one of them, because they could just show up suddenly anywhere at any moment. I think we're going to go ahead and keep pushing Wonders of the Forest. We're making a lot of money off of post-battle loot. Let's take some percentage bonuses to large numbers, shall we? So do we want to learn the weak version of a new spell, or I'm gonna take our passive. More winds of magic means more crows. I'm a big fan of crows.
My blade is
You know what? Let's step into the settlement for a moment here, because I could really use the extra replenishment. It looks like Galek Bloodgorge is. I wonder if he tried to attack the Plane of Spiders or something, because his army got damaged really badly fighting the other exile army, but it wasn't this bad.
itching for fresh battle.
Actually, we do have the movement range. You know what? I'm gonna go at these dudes.
No order.
I think they'll be able to retreat, but we can make their lives a little bit more annoying. And then if we switch into March mode, we have just enough movement to make it back to our territory. But we're still in friendly territory here. We're still getting some replenishment.
With grace.
I think we'll just, oh no, sorry, don't do that. I'm trying to get you to move to the edge of the movement range. There we go. We'll just make it clear to them that they are not welcome here. Alright, well I think things are going really well right now. Let's step into the forge. Do we want to upgrade our dreaming boots? Oh, yes, very much so. Yeah, an even greater permanent boost to campaign movement range,
Perfection.
I think, is a total no-brainer.
Favor my fool sister.
Alright, let's see what the Beastmen do here. So they have the ability to move through the world routes, same as we do. So they may try to sneak under the mountains, or never mind. Maybe they'll just get jumped by our allies because they already spent their retreat for the turn. You know, so far this partnership has produced a lot of value. It's very fruitful. Also, we get to be friends with a lot of, like, wicked skeletons. Definitely, the Tomb Kings are definitely one of my favorite factions in the Warhammer world. They mostly want to be left alone, and they also are cool skeleton guys.
You waste energy.
Alright, so we're finishing tech. We got another Whisper in the Woods. That, again, seems like not really my problem. I mean, if we were to come over here, we could help make sure that the territory around the oak is healthy, because we're going to have to build up a lot of health on the oak. I think for right now, my primary concern is just getting our forest restored. If we can rebirth the Witchwood, that's how we'll feed health to the oak. So, we have a bunch of unfriendly dark elves to the north of us. A bunch of unfriendly dark elves to the south of us. I don't really know what our plan is from here. You feeling any more amenable to the non-aggression pact? Okay. We'll get there. I would love it if we could get Hag Hall friendly. So right now we're just gaining 4 health per turn, and I don't really know what we want to do. So let's get back over here to where we can respond to threats, and maybe we will go Dark Elf hunting? A lot of our ability to improve our economy is based on the idea that we're going to be winning a lot of battles, right? So Income from grapevine buildings up, which I don't think we have any of. I think that's you have to be in a place that has access to grapes. Casualty replenishment rate up for dryads and tree type units, which we don't have any of. Maybe we start heading down this path now. We can pick up the wisdom of the Eagle Lords. Some pretty big buffs to great eagles and line of sight over all magical forest regions. But this will make distant foes aware of you as well. Huh. Let's go this way. Bonus income from raising settlements may turn out to be relevant if we go dark elf hunting. And if we're just going to be sitting on a big pile of gold that we don't necessarily have an immediate use for, it might make sense to hire in a second lord, get a second army started, even if we can't actually pay their upkeep every turn, and just fund them by taking big scores of gold from burning down enemy settlements. I don't know, we'll see. Let's get over here and try to gauge the strength of these dark elves before we go committing to anything. So, what's your deal? You are strength rank 124. For comparison, we're strength rank 65, and that just means we have one army that's full of, like, pretty low tier units. These guys are real weak. I don't think we actually want their territory, probably, but might be a good thing for us for them not to have their territory. And also, they're at war with... Okay, they're at war with some people we don't care about. If you can find people who are enemies of the people you'd like to be friends with, that's often a good way to make yourself some friends real fast. How much movement do we need left? We need 50% of our movement range to go into replenishment stance. Let's do that. We'll move just a little bit less than 50%. And then I think one turn in... Okay. One turn in this stance gets us to just about full. We do have some new recruitment abilities, so we could trade out some of our bad units for better units. How long does that stuff take to recruit? We'd have to go back into the Witchwood to get it quickly, or we could sit out here for a couple of turns and pull things in that way. You know what? For right now, let's just push out there and explore. We can come back and build up better units, or potentially replace losses with better units after we skirmish with the Dark Elves a bit. Alright, Katep, what do you want? A military alliance? Absolutely not. That's the one where if he declares war on somebody else, we get dragged into it. I am not giving him that power. A big part of the issue with that is that it seems like once you have a military alliance with an AI faction, they just consider your army to be part of their army when evaluating their military strength. And so they keep going after enemies that the two of you together could probably handle, and thus dragging you into fights that are a little bit too tough for you to handle alone. Oh no, storm clouds gather in the north. There are rumors that the barbarous tribes residing in the shadow of chaos have ceased striving against each other for the attention of the dark gods, and are instead banding together, suckling at the teat of chaos, which is pretty gross as far as teats go. The hordes grow in strength. It seems only a matter of time before the dam breaks and a tide of ruin bursts forth to engulf the old world, corrupting or destroying all in its path. Marshal your strength, nurture the sinews of war, build your walls high, gather warriors to your banner, etc. Time comes, weatherstorm. Listen, this is a big deal for a lot of people in a lot of places of the world. We are so far away from all of the areas affected by chaos, we don't have to think about that right now. Oh, you know what I didn't think about? If we send our army out on the sea, we can maybe find some pirate treasure. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cliff faces over here. We don't have a lot of beaches. How are we actually going to get down there? I guess, can we use that? No, we cannot. If we want to get into the water, the closest beach is like all the way over here. Alright, let's, for the moment, let's just move in on these Dark Elves. So, Venomglade has a 7-unit garrison and is completely undefended. Okay, next turn we're going to attack that. We'll just burn down a bunch of Dark Elf stuff and take all of their gold. So, next 2 turns we'll be able to do this. And then we're basically capped out on improvements until we can buy another level of upgrades here. Oh, actually, we're really close to being able to do that. Okay, well now we know what we're doing with the big pile of gold we're sitting on, and then we'll just replace the gold with Dark Elf gold. Listen, it all spends the same, theirs just has more blood on it. The Dark Elves are like... Listen, the Wood Elves are not exactly classical good guys. There's a lot of bloodlust going on here. But the Dark Elves are far, far worse. And also, they're huge edgelords about it, which is maybe even a greater sin.
When do we fight? Only
A young Gladelord full of hope and naivety wishes to journey into the Dreaming Wood to recover a lost artifact. Headstrong and confident, perhaps to the point of arrogance, the Dreaming Wood is a twisted domain ruled by the Prince of Pleasure, Slaanesh. To enter is to dance with the Chaos God of Madness and Desire. Most who enter never return, claimed body and soul by the forces of ruin. Yet this Gladelord seems self-assured. Do you allow them to recover this item or forbid the journey? So they'll go and get the Witstealer Sword, which, wow, it's a lot of damage. It makes your attacks magical. It removes enemy leadership, but it also creates a lot of chaos corruption. So we'll get a temporary effect that causes a huge amount of corruption, and then this sword will cause corruption forever for the rest of the game. I think we're not going to do this. First of all, we don't really have a character we'd want to equip a sword on anyway, and secondly, corruption can be a big problem. We're going to deny that request for now.
Ariel sees all. The Black Cord has no time.
Alright, does anybody care if I go to war with these people? Hey, Katep, how do you feel about these guys? If we click on Katep... Oh no, wait, I've done this backwards. Sorry, we want to select their settlement. Now, there's a way to do this. Right now, what we can see is how the Dark Elves feel about Katep, which is the opposite of the information I wanted. Basically, what I want to know is, will you... how do I do this? You can offer to declare war on people. You know, I think you can only... Maybe you can only offer to join them in a war? Yeah. Alright, never mind. I was going to ask Katep how much he would pay me to kill these Dark Elves for him, but it seems like he doesn't care, so let's just do it.
End their threat.
Presumably they have an army somewhere. Alright, super easy battle, we're just going to auto-resolve that.
You wouldn't dare.
So I don't think we actually want this territory. I'm just going to burn it down.
Regrettable.
You know, a quick 7,000 gold. Oh yeah, winning a battle relights the forge. That's good. That's a valuable thing to have done. Yeah, sure. We'll just buff up these Vambraces.
It is made perfect. The Sisters of Twilight on a pacifist.
There are lots and lots of reasons to be constantly engaged in war. I think we've found a variety of decent ones here. So let's go ahead and buy that Witchwood upgrade.
Harmony has prevailed.
Unfortunately, it's going to take 10 turns for that to actually build out. How are you feeling? They don't actually care that we went after those Dark Elves. I'm a little surprised by that.
I pray you bring low it forbids us.
Okay. Well, we're trending toward an actual positive number here. If we get up to 2 approval with them, maybe they'll be into it then. And burning down a settlement usually spends all of your remaining movement, so we're just gonna have to wait until next turn to do more stuff. So Clark Herund is a major settlement. You can see here these like little crenellations along the top of the scroll that the city's name is on indicate that it has like proper fortifications, walls and towers and stuff. It will be a little bit tougher to take that than it was to take Venomglade. I don't even know if we'll run up there and do it. To be perfectly honest with you, the right play might be to just go into ambush mode in the woods near Venomglade and grab their army when they come to reclaim their lost settlement, which I bet they will do. Oh, the Exiles have chosen to join us in our conquest. Listen, I'm fine with the Exiles taking all this territory. Territory outside the Magic Forests just isn't really that valuable to Wood Elves because we can only build those simple outposts in it, and we'll have a hard time defending it. So I don't want any of it. Clan Molder has started a deadly plague. That's a not us problem. We can just see the very edge of Clan Molder's land over here, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah, Clan Molder... Oh, no, wait, this is Clan Scryer. I don't even know where Clan Molder is. But we must be able to see some of their stuff, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten that message, I think. Alright, let's go ahead and take this upgrade. Even more income.
Twin defenders of the glade.
You know what? We don't see any Dark Elves around here or anything. I'm going to search this ruin. Throughout the world, the Old Ones left vast troves of power for use by their most trusted servants. To prevent such power falling into the wrong hands, they placed wards and cryptographic locks. So, little puzzles of the Old Ones. To access the Old One's treasure, solve the puzzle. A die has 6 faces. May the fates keep them rolling high. So we have a mystery face here. Let's see. Okay. This thing in this orientation tells us that this face is one of those, right? Easy. So we got ourselves a standard of discipline that we can assign to our army and a not very impressive amount of gold. So yeah, that right there is why I usually don't bother doing those. You can see, doing so consumed all of the movement of this army for the turn, and the reward we got was just kinda crummy. We've also got a Royal Standard Bearer that we picked up at some point, and I never bothered to equip. That seems like a thing we ought to do. Yeah, and then we're just sitting here in no man's land, not replenishing, not fighting. It's tough. It's tough to spend a whole turn worth of an army's time doing stuff like that. Alright, so we're pretty positive on public order. We're actually, things are going well. Slowly but surely, this forest is healing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try to ambush some Dark Elves. The fact that our Tomb King friends have declared war on them as well means that we might have the Tomb Kings pushing up the mountain pass towards Storag Core, which means that whatever Clark Heron's army is doing, they may end up feeling pretty pressed. It's not a good idea to fight a two-front war, it turns out. Interestingly, Clark Heron has this little obelisk symbol here, which indicates that there is some kind of unique building available there. Rumors of a possible threat to the world roots have emerged, you know, way over here. Listen, there's a lot of threats to the world roots. These are not my problem. I am pretty curious. I'm pretty curious about that. Do we want to fall back and replenish in our own territory and then maybe try to take that? Yeah, I think let's do that. Let's get strong and then go fight. And unfortunately we moved just a little bit too far to take up the that movement stance. Oh, hey, we can improve the Oak of Ages. It just costs a hell of a lot of money. Well, it turns out I have a hell of a lot of money. So upgrading this will get us +1 health per turn to the local forest. Unlocks the ability to confederate Torgavon and Widrioth. It's these little Wood Elf factions up here. Yeah, that definitely seems worth our money. Wow, +20 growth in all provinces. Yeah, okay. I have 10,000 gold to contribute to the healing of the World Tree. So my real hope, Clan Rictus. The Clan Rictus Skaven are declaring war on me. Well, I would love it if the Exiles would join in my defense. And we have no idea where those Skaven actually are, so it's hard to know where to move our armies to for defense. Yeah, Clan Rictus. I don't know, have we seen any of their stuff? Okay, that's really good news. So remember, when we resettled that empty territory, how it decimated our army? They've just done the same thing, so we're just going to run back up there and kill them real fast. But first, we're going to go to the... Oh, hold on. We're going to talk to Daith first, and then we're going to go to the diplomatic map and try to figure out where the hell Clan Rictus is. So, a new type of thing. Let's go for some kind of magic item, maybe something that we could give to our wizard. Let's get a powerful enchanted item. The lords and ladies of Athaloran gather every so often to discuss and determine the future of the Aserai. Their word, once the debate is concluded, is proclaimed throughout the forests and enacted immediately. At this moment, they have decided that more funds are required if Athaloran is to prosper. Hey, they sent me 2,000 gold. And our enchanted item was an eagle quiver. So, reload time reduction is just like attack speed for ranged units. That does seem like a pretty good item. Hold on, do we want to swap out... What are you guys using? The dragon pendant? You know what, this would be just as effective on the wizard. The casualty replenishment thing for the army, that is. Here, you hold our replenishment pendant. Okay. So yeah, a tiny army that has just lost a bunch of its people to resettlement.
Ariel's will.
Let's just go do this thing real quick. And they do have a tiny secondary army.
Fight for the forest.
Oh, we have our little standard here. So once you have a banner equipped to an army, you can just throw it onto any unit. Let's give plus leadership to our cavalry. They're the most likely unit to be surrounded by enemies and stuff, so...
Shall reign.
Wow, we lost a lot of units there. So the auto-resolver has some quirks that you have to get used to when you play a lot of Total War. In some situations, it will perform far, far worse than you would have performed manually, and in some situations it'll perform better. Here, we got way worse. We saved some of our actual real-world human time by not doing that battle manually, but unfortunately, our army is a lot more beat up than I would like them to be. Got ourselves a banner of swiftness from the enemy, and of course we've relit the forge. Yeah, definitely improve my bow even further.
Like no other.
Man, that's pretty solid. 15% damage, 12% attack range. That is a fine artifact. Okay, so now we've unlocked the second box of magic abilities. There's a couple of really powerful spells here, and then also passive buffs to reduce your chance to miscast and to just increase the amount of winds of magic that this hero puts into each battle. So what do these actually do? This dramatically reduces the attack, the melee attack, the ranged accuracy, and the speed of an enemy unit. And this summons a powerful Great Eagle. Huh. I mean, that's fine. Great Eagles are not amazing. Let's take this. This seems like a pretty serious debuff. Like, a loss of 24 melee attack is going to make a unit, in many cases, like, functionally unable to hit their enemies.
What is this foolishness?
And yeah, we're not going to get punished for that. This army is far too weak. Alright. We could worship Anathrema, the Savage Huntress. Bonus versus large for all elf cavalry. Cooldown reduction to the Lore of Beasts. That is what our caster is. And missile strength for all missile units. I mean, that seems great. Why wouldn't we take that? Alright, let's see what these Dark Elves plan to do here. Oh, hold on a second. We were going to go to the diplomacy menu and see if we could figure out where those Skaven are. Alright, the fact that it didn't zoom over to their land when we selected them here means that we don't know where their land is. They are strength rank 34. They do read as a little bit more powerful than us. Well, good luck to me, I guess.
How I enjoyed that.
It's tricky with Skaven, too, because their armies are very stealthy, and they also have access to underway movement, so they could really come from anywhere. This might be a good time to maybe extract some money from Clark Herond in exchange for a peace treaty, and then have our units fall back and be ready to play defense against the rats. Let's see if Clark Herond will pay us to go away. The fate of the body. As with all things of the natural world, a denizen of the forest has shed their mortal shell and become one with the woods. Yet the question remains of how to honor the body, now that they have passed. They could be sacrificed in the flames, immolated as Orion is each year, a warrior's pyre, or the body could be planted deep within the ground, allowing the hungry roots of the deep wood to draw strength from its moldering remains. Oh man, they're both just such attractive options. So if we give them a warrior's send-off, all of our units will replenish faster and will pay less upkeep. Or if we return them to the forest, all of our stuff will grow faster. I think I care about growth a little bit more. Alright, Clark Herond. Will you pay me to go away? No, in fact, they would not accept a peace treaty. They're probably a little bit angry at me. I get that. I see where they're coming from. Let's go ahead and fall back anyway. Come back here, go into replenishment stance. Or we could, I suppose, just move into a friendly settlement. It's hard to know what the Skaven are going to do or where they're going to come from. And I spend so little time in this part of the world that I don't know where Clan Rictus starts. Alright, how about now?
There is no victory.
Alright, our number keeps trending upward. We'll just keep trying that every few turns until he takes it.
Serene
I think I'm just going to go into replenishment mode right here. If the Dark Elves want to come down and reclaim Venom Glade, maybe we'll steal it from them again. Alright, 6 turns left on this. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about Clan Rictus. So you can see, whenever it's another player's turn and we're actually familiar with them, we get a little balance of power bar underneath that shows how powerful the game reckons we are relative to them. The more yellow that bar is, the more powerful we are. So it does look like most of our neighbors are stronger than us, except for the Dark Elves that we keep dunking on. Which has me a little bit nervous. I would like to get a second army going. Okay, everything is remarkably eerily quiet. Oh, it looks like Alithanar is pushing back the Dark Elves, right? This used to be ruled by Dark Elves. So that's good news for us. Means we don't have to worry about a war on 2 fronts. I think we're just going to chill out here for another turn. We'll be just about full health then. You know what we could do? Because we are allied with them, we can ask them to attack specific settlements and armies. I'm going to ask them to attack this settlement for us, draw the Dark Elves that way, and then, hopefully, once that happens, we'll just go take Clark Errand. It's a simple plan, but you'd be surprised how often the AI is unable to carry through on something like that. Frankly, it would probably be totally reasonable for us to just run up and kill Clark Errand, even if all the Dark Elf armies are in there, but I would love to do it the easy way. So you can see at least one of the Wood Elf factions over in Athaloran has built up quite a force. I don't know why they're not running out and handling these threats to the tree. Seems like they totally could. Alright, so they have built up their army a little bit. We'll have a look at that in a second when it's our turn. I saw a couple of the units that they have, and it doesn't look like they're too impressive. War over by the World Tree. That's a thing we'll have to keep an eye on. So what can we see? You can see they have a master. I guess this unit is just called a master. Dark Elves are not very imaginative. Bleak swords and dark shards. Like I said, they're just completely unredeemable edgelords. And some basic cavalry. I'm not afraid of the things we can see in this army.
When do we fight? Only when necessary.
Alright, let's go set up an ambush. So we're gonna just sit down near the road here. In ambush stance. You have a better chance of ambushing in trees. Obviously, just out in the open near the road is tough, but you can only ambush an army if it walks into the little red circle around your army. So in the trees, I'm not confident that we would actually catch them. I think they would just walk past us. Let's see if they fall for this incredibly brilliant trap.
Let there be battle.
And if they don't, hopefully the skeletons will actually mobilize, and there's a lot of ways this could go right. Okay, hey, that looks pretty promising. So how do the Dark Elves handle this? Do they fall back and play defense? Do they try to settle their third territory? Or do they perhaps just concede and hand me their stuff? Okay, they fell into the ambush. This is very embarrassing for them. Let's just give our speed boosting banner to, like... You know what? I'm going to give it to our lords. Since we can shoot while moving and everything, it seems like a good idea to just stay mobile. Yep, and we will just consume them. Once again, I think we would have probably performed better than that manually. I maybe should have taken that one manually. Wow, that was a lot of money, though.
This is the price you pay.
I think we're going to replenish a little bit, because I would like to just push forward and take their capital. Oh, and we've gained a trait by achieving victory over Dark Elves repeatedly. So +5 leadership for the whole army is pretty powerful. That's a pretty significant effect. And of course, we've lit the forge once again. We're very good at keeping this thing burning. Upgrade my Dreaming Boots even further. That's another 5% movement range. And we finish this at the same time. We've been issued a quest to destroy things. The Pine Crags is an embattled region, ever beset by the greenskins of the Grey Mountains. As such, beneath Widrioth's caves are a maze of walkways, root-braced tunnels, and outposts of living defense works that have repelled many an opportunistic wall. Lord Findle, who holds sway over the realm, has a thirst for battle matched only by his courtiers, taking great joy in slaughtering the green menace who so frequently intrude upon his domain. After seeing off a recent rash of particularly large greenskin attacks, however, the realm is slightly less defensible than it has been in the past. Lord Findle has reached out to you for assistance. He would like you to bring war to the greenskins so that their attentions may be elsewhere, while Widrioth's defenses are rejuvenated. Though he has little fear that any greenskin attack would succeed even now, he prefers for his glades to be fully primed to inflict maximum bloodshed for inevitable future attacks. So, if we do this, we'll be able to take all of Widrioth's stuff into our empire. Unfortunately for us, there are no greenskins nearby. In order to do this, we would probably have to use the world routes to go over to Athaloran and then range out like east or north from there. We will totally do it. Also, some of the Ezra have wandered far from Athaloran. An opportunity has arisen that might bring them back into the fold. I like that there's a lot of stuff going on in this campaign that encourages you to leave the area around your safe little forests. We'll totally dig into some of this stuff in a moment here. And this is how we confederate the other guys. They want us to win a battle against the Norskins, which are, like, way up here on the northern edge of the map. Nestled in the northern reaches of the Empire is Loren's sister colony of Lorelorn, an enclave of wood elves that also endured the ages since Ulthuan withdrew its colonies from the Old World. And this, in fact, is Lorelorn Forest right here. The Empire states of Nordland and Middenland have historically both claimed Lorelorn Forest as their territory, but due to the fiercely isolationist Asrai who inhabit it, none have ever tried to enforce such claims. Lately, the Empire has been the least of the Lorelorn elves' worries, as the Sea of Claws has seen increasingly frequent crossings by bloodthirsty Norskins, whose sole purpose is war and destruction. Recent Northman raids have seen them gain ground further south into Nordland, bringing marauder bands closer to Lorelorn Forest. Minor skirmishes have already occurred, with Azrai blood needlessly spilt. For the good of the Weave, defeating the Norskins in battle and weakening their numbers may facilitate a friendship with the Lorelorn elves, and make them more sympathetic to your cause. Okay, yeah, I think it's a good idea for us to take over some forests elsewhere in the world, and we will totally get on that as soon as we finish with this stuff. So we did slay some enemy characters in combat there. How many points do we have to spend in this? Okay, we have to spend 5 points in the previous box in order to open up open branches, which then will open up Lightning Strike. We've also unlocked some stuff up here by leveling up. So we can learn the Howl of the Forest, which gives all allies within 40 meters of our lord +9 melee attack. Sight Beyond Sight, which is a buff to missile damage, or Possessed by the Trickster God, which gives plus melee defense. So, I mean, I think we would be most likely to take Sight Beyond Sight here. But I think we're going to focus on this first. I care about Lightning Strike a lot. So you know what, let's grab some Obscuring Canopy. I do love ambushes. And then the Sisters of Twilight, the Mage can just get an even better version of this. So when we overcast it, it has a considerably increased area of effect. And right now, there's no reason to believe that Clark Harrand has any military at all, right? Yeah, the bar is completely yellow. So yeah, this seems like the moment to press on them. And then, once we've handled this, we'll go figure out the other forests and stuff. So, when you go up against a settlement that has walls and, towers and stuff, you have some options. You can build siege equipment to help you get through the gates, but you don't have to build siege equipment if you have any units that have the Siege Attacker trait, which it looks like we do not. So you see the buttons for battle are grayed out. We're just going to go ahead and build... Do we want to build battering rams? Do we want to try to go through their gates? Or do we want to build siege towers and just go over their walls? They have a unit of extremely elite Blackguard, and then a bunch of Black Ark Corsairs, Basically, they have slightly better melee than we do, but they're very, very outnumbered here. I think let's go through the gates. We'll build a couple of rams, and then how long would it take to build towers? Let's do a little bit of both. Here, we'll do this. We'll spend one turn building a ram, another turn building a pair of towers, and then we'll have at them that way.
Necessity.
Okay, and hopefully the Tomb Kings will get on that thing as quickly as possible. Alright, what's next? Drakira, Queen of Vengeance. Worship her to get enemy units afflicted with defensive penalties and also lots of ambush success chance. That does seem like the direction we're going, doesn't it?
Harmony shall reign.
Alright, so you notice whenever you're sieging an enemy settlement, there's a timer here. If we siege them for 14 turns, the settlement would just completely surrender. I've never seen that happen, because before that will ever occur, the settlement garrison would ride out and just try to defeat us in battle. There are some things you can do to improve the speed with which you starve out an enemy garrison and force them into a disadvantageous fight. We're probably not going to worry about any of that, is my guess.
We fight for the forest.
The Asurai wish to erect a new shrine within Athaloran to give praise to the gods they so faithfully serve. Yet the question is posed, to whom should this shrine be dedicated? The two frontrunners are Asurion or Cain, but ultimately the choice is yours. Do you wish to honor the Phoenix King Asurion, the wise and just ruler of the Elven Pantheon, or his brother Cain, who's basically he's the murder god? Cain the murder god. If we worship Asurion, we'll get a temporary reprieve from some of our upkeep. You know what? I think we're going Cain. We're pretty ruthless and bloodthirsty so far. Alright, we'll give that one more turn to build the stuff, and then, yeah, I think we're actually done for the turn. When you only have one army, your turns are real short and simple. And still no sign of those Skaven, huh? Oh, never mind. Sign. We found sign of them. Well, my suspicion is that this small settlement called Val's Anvil, one of the many settlements in the world called Val's Anvil, is probably lost. There's no way we could get back in time to defend that. I think we do want to just finish off Clark Errand. The Skaven will rampage through some of our outposts, we'll fall back, and we'll defend the Wildwood. We'll take some temporary losses. It won't be a big deal. So, let's do it. We have a pretty good balance of power on this. We could just take the auto-resolve. Let's give a leadership bonus to, I don't know, probably a melee unit. I'm just going to take the auto-resolve because we have a situation to get to. Don't worry, we'll fight plenty of siege battles over the course of the campaign. So you know what, we are going to occupy this because I'm curious about the strategic location thing here. Can we actually build a strategic location? Ah, well, we could harvest the wood. Or we could just build the same things we can build everywhere else. Okay, so unfortunately, the fact that we're wood elves and we don't really build settlements in the normal way prevents us from figuring out what this is. So we have the ability to abandon the settlement. It will generate 9 income. You know what? I don't actually want this settlement. I'm fine with that. Let's just bail out of here. So we'll grab open branches now. We now recruit ranks at a higher, or recruit units at a higher level, and we can recruit more units at the same time. And then from here, we'll get into the really important stuff like dramatic increases to our casualty replenishment rate, or the ability to lightning strike people, which means that in a lightning strike battle, nobody gets to bring reinforcements. So this is a good way to have one powerful army defeat like a combined force of 2 armies by fighting them each in a one-on-one. It's a thing that comes up a lot, because the AI is mostly going to rely on outnumbering you to try to defeat you. Alright, let's go ahead and upgrade the Oak of Ages again, because we are making some very serious money here. This will give us the ability to confederate more people, even more forest health. Yeah, seems like a no-brainer. As long as we keep taking all this money from all of our neighbors, it's easy enough to keep doing that. And we can upgrade our Dragon Pendant. You know, honestly, I think we're going to take the temporary upgrade again, because once again, we find ourselves in a situation where we desperately need a lot of replenishment rate very quickly. Yeah, we're not going to bother repairing that, 'cause it's just a waste of money since we're abandoning it anyway. And here, unfortunately, I do believe we're about to lose a settlement. So this army has a couple of real units in it. Storm Vermin are heavily armored and pretty well trained. I mean, as well trained as a Skaven ever is. But they also have a lot of absolute garbage. These Skaven slaves are truly terrible units. Look at that. 13 attack, 10 defense. With only 36 leadership, they basically panic whenever anything happens. Unfortunately, I think they probably are more than a match for the 8-unit garrison in that settlement. Well, it's fine. They'll take it, and then we'll punish them and take it back. Yeah, we have no hope at all here. So their army is 4 units of Storm Vermin and then just a lot of terrible garbage. We have no chance of winning this battle. I'm just going to go ahead and accept the auto-resolve loss. Honestly, that's a lot of damage. I think this is a case where the auto-resolve probably overperformed us. Unfortunately, Skaven do very poorly in auto-resolves. The auto-resolver just does not like their units. Okay, so that army took a pretty serious beating. They will not be in good shape for us to come and take our revenge on them, and we absolutely will come and take our revenge on them. However, it's probably going to have to wait until tomorrow, because I do believe we are out of time for today. So once our turn starts here again, we'll call the video. Just want to see if anything else significant happens. Okay. Yeah, we have lost Val's Anvil temporarily. The orcs are doing a wog. Listen, we don't even need to worry about this. This is somebody else's problem. And there are warpstone showers at the Temple of Adaoth. Like malevolent hail, chunks of warpstone are falling from the sky in certain parts of your realm. Those that survive the onslaught are far from safe from the mutating effects of the chaos stuff that now scatters the ground. So dramatically reducing growth in the temple, that's not such a big deal. We don't really care about that. If it was in our actual magical forest, I'd be a little more annoyed. Okay, our Witchwood did finish upgrading, so we have lots of interesting choices of things to spend money on, and of course, we have some vengeance to take, and that is what we will be doing when you come back tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm really pleased with the speed at which this campaign is progressing. This might end up being a pretty short one, and if that's the case, who knows? We might play another or something. I'm having a lot of fun here. So come back next time, tomorrow, for even more murderous fun. And we'll see you then.